what would have to happen for this upcoming season to top the Renaissance season? The Renaissance season was last year. A lot of you are new. We have a huge chunk of our audience that's new. We started calling last year the Renaissance season in about July because we thought a lot of factors were coming together. Confluence, dare I say, a confluence of events. And it happened. A lot of it had to do with full stadiums again for the first time in a long time. The super senior rule made a lot of upsets a much more real possibility. We read the stats last week. We had all kind of record-setting amounts of upsets, top 10 teams falling, etc. What would have to happen for us to top that? Well, you'd have to have a perfect storm. But I'll tell you what you really have to have it come down to. Number one, you have to have energy. I don't think we have that in short supply. So normally, if you're leaning on passion and atmosphere and energy, college football fan bases are going to deliver that. So we have that pretty much every year. How many vulnerable spots do we find top 10 teams in? This does fluctuate pretty wildly. You can have top 10 teams on the road. You can have them face other ranked teams. But you and I know the difference between ranked versus ranked and a truly vulnerable spot. Like, that's one of the great things about a college football season. When you wake up on one of those Saturdays, you don't have to check a graphic, all due respect. You don't have to check a graphic that 24/7 puts out. You don't have to watch College Game Day where they put the Saturday lineup up and you see ranked versus ranked. You see how many teams are on the national marquee. You don't have to have anyone tell you if it's a big Saturday. Because there's this unmistakable feeling in your gut when you wake up on one of those days where you really are primed for an anything could happen sort of afternoon. Your gut tells you. Like, you know when someone's really in a vulnerable position, and you know when it's mainly just being dressed up that way to hopefully suck you into watching, even though we all know good and well who's going to be up 2 or 3 scores by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, with very few exceptions. How many of those Saturdays do we get? That's another important factor. And do the dogs bite? This past year, we had a lot of top 10 vulnerability, but then the dogs did their part. Underdogs bit, and it didn't hurt that a lot of those underdogs were at home. Iowa over Penn State. Iowa was at home. Texas A&M over Bama. Texas A&M was at home. Baylor over Oklahoma. Baylor was at home. A lot of these big upsets happened, as they usually do, when the underdog was at home. If you can have all that come together, and we also maintain proper perspective, and that is the regular season means everything. If you can have those factors all gel into this perfect product, that's how you could top the Renaissance season. But I'll be honest with you, William, I wouldn't look to top it. I just look to get in the ballpark. If you're even in the ballpark of what we all experienced this past year, 2022 is going to be a very good year. And I want to put it on your radar. It's never too early. It's about to be April. We need to start thinking about what we're going to call the 2022 tour. Renaissance tour was very good for us. 2022 tour, it's going to be good either way. What are we going to call it? Just think on it. We don't have to have an answer tonight. Just think on it.